Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Now, as I said last time, the model determines the story. So we are teacher dog. So we're going to talk about something relating to the wonderful world of education. Now, schools are exciting. School is a place where you get to meet many, many people, friends, partners, teachers, rivals, bullies, that one guy you can't stand back at the class, the dude who picks his nose, the guy who always smells like a dumpster. Meet a lot of people. All these people you meet impact your life in a certain way, shape, or form. They kind of help you become who you are, for better or for worse. Now, school usually, most often, well, currently nowadays, um, school is a place where many students crash out in the vernacular of you people, crash out. Um, to us oldies, we say cause trouble. Many students are rebel rousers nowadays. They do things to, not intentionally, sometimes. Usually, what happens is someone says something, they don't know how to take it, they punch them, dude punches back, you now got a fight on your hands, the teacher walks in, school policy says, I don't care who started it, you both get suspended. Problem not solved, problem not talked about. Kids come back, and now there's beef. During my time in education, I was told, you want to redirect that. One of my most heartwarming teaching stories is two of my students got into a fist fight in my class, and I walked over, and I stopped them, and I separated them, and their friends who were just kind of like going nuts. I separated them. One of their pals told me and was like, you gotta stop this. I don't want to get involved. It's too funny. So I sit them down. I tell them both, hey, let's talk. 20 minutes of class time, we just talk. We talk about why this happened, what led up to it. We just shared our feelings about this. End of the day, those two kids became actually good friends. They talked about it, differences settled, everything was good. It took 20 minutes, yeah, sure. We lost 20 minutes of class time, but in the end, the whole class, you know, understood each other a bit more. End of the day, as a teacher, you want to fix the problem. You don't want to leave it to fester. It was pretty nice. Two became buddy buddy again. Well, like for the first time, became really close. Started hanging out and doing work together. And their friend comes up to me and says, "Hey, teach. What would have happened if this was any other teacher?" And I told them, "Oh, all 12 of you who just watched this happen, suspended. Problem solved." No, well, not really, but we don't got time for that. Now, I think one of my most exciting and confusing teaching stories happens about another fight that breaks out in my classroom. For some reason, my class is the place where all the heat must happen. Couldn't tell you why. I don't know why I did deserve this. Granted, the room belonged to a former teacher who kind of KO punched a guy, but we don't talk about that. Maybe it was the picture of Rocky that inspired it. Should have taken that down. So, to get into it, days starts getting other. I'm walking in, doing my work, organizing papers. Students come in, teaching starts, and then it happens. But it's not your everyday average fight. No, no, no. It is boy against girl over stupid dumb crap. I don't know what it was about. Couldn't remember. So they are about to fist fight. And I say, whoa, 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 whoa. This is math class. We don't fight in math class. We use our brains in math class. I felt bad about saying that actually because both of them were failing both math and English. So at that point, I really shouldn't have said anything. They look at me and they go, what? Fighting will sell this faster, teach. And I go, no, 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 no. Fighting makes me do paperwork. I don't want to do paperwork. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. And they're like, okay, what's that? And I tell them, you both are going to have yourselves a duel in one game of my choosing. And they go, why? And I say, well, if you do it like this, then there's like a contested winner. If you end up fighting, you can blame interference. But if you settle it in a game that you both don't know how to play, so you both take like a week to learn, and then you play, it's just up to skill and reading at that point. One of you is superior than the other. That are just lucky. So they said, okay, bet, let's do it. So mission 1 of plan stop the fight, get them to do something else, achieved. Part 2 is to find what they do instead, and that was the issue. So now both of them say, okay, teach, what are we doing? So I gotta think. It has to be an event that's fair to the girl and the guy. What do I do here? We are in a weird spot. And then it hits me. Have either of you two played a card game called Yu-Gi-Oh? Thankfully, no. So you may be asking yourself, you do a lot of Cardfight Vanguard content. Why are you talking about Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, you see, Yu-Gi-Oh is amazing for teaching math and English. It really is. No joke. If you are having trouble with math, multiplication, addition, subtraction, division, whatever it is, play Yu-Gi-Oh. Just play it analog. Pen and paper, no calculator. You will be surprised on the results. As for reading skills, let's be honest. The text on those cards is so convoluted that you kind of need an English degree to understand what's happening. So we're doing good at this point. So, me suggesting Yu-Gi-Oh kind of wins in 2 different scenarios. It wins in the sense that, 1, if they choose to take it, math and English now go up. And 2, if they refuse, which they should refuse because it's a children's card game called Yu-Gi-Oh, we get to think of a different plan, and that buys me some more time. Issue. They both agreed on the spot. So now I have to watch a Yu-Gi-Oh duel between 2 students. Neither of them know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. So, middle of our math lesson, we're going through it, and I'm walking around checking people's work, and I see the boy who wants to fight the girl. We're going to give him a name. We're going to call him Blondie. Blondie is Googling how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. He is watching a video on how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. And I look at him. And I say, are you researching how to play Yu-Gi-Oh during my class time? And the girl responds, we're going to call the girl Brown Hair. And Brown Hair goes, that's cheating. He can't do that. And Blondie replies, she was looking at things called meta decks earlier. So I have a problem. They're both way too invested. I might have fucked up. But wait, it's okay. Because we have a solution. I tell them I'm going to make both their decks. It'll be the exact same deck, word for word, bar for bar. Same cards and all. Same amount, same everything. They're using the basic rules. To which the Blondie said, thank goodness, I don't understand what Link is, or Fusion is, or Synchro. This is not making sense to me. And I'm like, yep. Don't worry, we're using simple. So, if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh nerd, let me tell you some of the stuff that Brownhair told me about. Brownhair told me she wanted a Predaplant branded deck. I've only played Yu-Gi-Oh for maybe 5 years. I'm not spending money on that. I'm not. Look, I'm here to help you learn. I'm not here to spend my hard-earned cash on you. So that's a no. And then they respond with, okay. Well, how about anything that has 3 copies of Ash? And I immediately say, you know what? You're not picking anything. At the time, Ash was $30 a piece. No. No. I'm not doing that. So, lucky for me, a good pal of mine works at a card store, and he gives me a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He gives me all their bulk. And the shop owner says, what do you need this for? And I say, hey, I'm actually a teacher, and I'm using this for my class. I don't want my kids fighting, so we're going to play Yu-Gi-Oh instead. And he looks at me, and he goes, how did you convince 2 kids to settle this in Yu-Gi-Oh? And I'm like, I don't know. Education is 90%, education is 10% planning and 90% flying by the seat of your oversized clown pants. You have a plan, half the time it doesn't work. Well, majority of the time doesn't work. So, I get the cards, I make the decks, and yeah, it's all ready. And I come in, I show them both each deck. Both decks contain 1 copy of Mirror Force. Mirror Force just blows up your opponent's attacking board. All things in attack mode go bye-bye. I did this to speed up the game because I didn't want to be there for too long. Now, they are playing equip decks, so think of Arm Samurai Benkei. Everything has a sword. Arm Samurai Benkei, Birdman that can attack twice. Think of a sword and anything that can use that sword. Pretty simple in layman's terms. They both go, can we have a practice game? And I said, sure. If you finish all your work and your score is higher than a 70, I will happily practice with you for 2 games. During class and outside of class if you come in during my break or if you need tutoring. They were in my class every day for the entire day for 3 weeks. Every day in class. Practice, please. Check their work. They went from 50s and 60s to 80s and 90s. So I'm happy. At the same time, my friend DeAndre is teaching English, and she's like, what? Why are their English scores going up? And I'm like, oh, we're doing Yu-Gi-Oh. And she's like, did the principal sign off? Did the admin say it's okay? And I was like, I have class to get back to. Bye, DeAndre. So it comes down to the day of the challenge. They're both ready. They're both ready to go. And they start spreading news around school saying, hey, Blondie versus Brownhair in dog teacher's room this time. It's a best 2 out of 3 in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's going to be great. And several of the teachers look at me and they say, "Is there a fight happening in your class?" And I was like, "Well, not in the sense that a fight, what you thinking of. Think of it more like a card game." And they said, "Oh, what card game?" And I was like, Yu-Gi-Oh. And they're like, "Oh, did administration sign off on this?" "Hey, I'm very busy right now. I gotta go." And I walked off. So it's time. They both come in. They're both ready to do this. We planned this for a review day, so everybody finished their review. My entire class that day actually finished their review pretty fast. I didn't think they would. It was they had finished pretty quick. The whole class did really good. So it's time for the game. It's time for the game. Blondie, brown hair, sitting across from each other. We got the life points on the board. We're doing speed duel rules because, again, I'm not sitting here for 30 minutes. We're doing this fast and now. Game 1. Here we go. Blondie gets a good board going. Brown hair is losing momentum pretty fast. But then, brown hair gets a fun card called Mirror Force and blows up Blondie's entire board and then proceeds to win in one turn. So brown hair wins game 1, and Blondie goes, "What? That's cheating. That's impossible." And brown hair responds, "Read the card." He reads the card and goes, "Not you, right?" Reading. The one thing most people in Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't do. Go to game 2. It's the reverse. Blondie is looking pretty bad. Brown hair is kicking his butt. Blondie hits Mirror Force, blows up her board, and then proceeds to go for game, wins it. Brown hair goes, "I can't believe you copied my strat." Blondie says, "Brown hair, get good. You're just too weak. Get on my level." Note, this is the first time they've both played Yu-Gi-Oh! And well, after playing against me for, I guess, 3 weeks straight, it's more of the... I wouldn't call them seasoned veterans. I'd call them children who look for Mirror Force. And then we go to game 3. Now, game 3 is a nail biter. Back and forth, nonstop action. It's going great. And then Blondie misplays. Blondie plays a card thinking he can add back to hand Mirror Force. Instead, he reads it and goes, "I goofed. I goofed. Teach, I goofed." And I go, "What?" I look at him and I go, "What? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on?" And he goes, "I didn't read the card. It says bring back warrior monsters, not trap cards." Brown hair immediately said, "Boy can't read, get good," and proceeds to beat him in one turn. So, after that, Blondie is practically demoralized, and brown hair is like, "I'm the best, you suck, get on my level, scrub." Blondie looks at her and goes, "I want a rematch." And I say, "You can have your salty run back later in the future, not right now." Kids don't listen. So, after that, every day in my class, I had to make a little rule where if you finish your work and your grade's a 70 or higher, and there is literally nothing else for you to do, you can play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you win, you get a prize. So, an entire class of mine got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Playing it back and forth, dueling, winning. And then one kid said, and I'll never forget this, "Teach, if we duel you and win, can you give the whole class a homework pass?" Blondie and brown hair immediately looked at this kid and said, "You're not going to win, though. We can't beat him. It's been 2 months and we can't beat him." And I look at him and I say, win once, whole class gets a homework pass. I'll do it. I left that school undefeated. Yes, I feel bad about it. But hey, there's one good thing about this. I improved 80% of my class's reading and math scores by a whopping 30%. People who were failing made a comeback with an 80 or higher at the end of the term. Boom, baby. And by failing, I mean they were at like a 50, like 50, 60. So they jumped. It was great. DeAndre was like, how'd you do it? And I was like, Yu-Gi-Oh. The other teachers, how'd you do it? Yu-Gi-Oh. Administration, how'd you do it? I do not know how I did it. I could not tell you, admin. I could not tell you. Well, that's my story. See you guys later.